coffee starting to get a little darker. You can also hear the pops happen. That's pretty much known as the first crack. And once you get past the first crack, you want to make sure that you keep moving it around. That way you get a nice even roast. And to be careful to not let the pan get too hot. So sometimes I'll just take it off a little bit. I've also gone ahead and reduced the heat on the coils, just so that I'm not burning the roast. I like to have like a medium dark roast. That's kind of what I'm going for, but it's something that gets too dark, it starts to get really oily and then it tastes burnt. So you can see here the color's definitely changed from when we started. It's now looking much more of a beige brown. This will take me about 20 minutes in total. And then I have this guy here, which I'm gonna use to get rid of all the extra husk that is in there so that the beans can be left nice and polished, and then I will bring it into here to let it cool afterwards. So I'm gonna walk you through the whole process, but for now, the beans are roasting, they're starting to get dark. You can hear the cracks happen. And as you get closer to kind of the pan getting really hot and the beans start to get brown, you just wanna keep a closer eye on it just so that you don't kind of cross over into being too burnt. Like I can see this 1 or 2 beans in here are already a little too roasted for my taste, so I might toss them out. I might just leave them in there depending on how the other beans are, but overall I like them to be as even as possible, even though it's a little bit harder to do when you're roasting at home. But the more you move the beans around, the easier it is to keep the roast as even as possible. So you can see here, it's looking pretty nicely roasted here. Some of them are a little bit darker, but that's pretty good. I might just give it another, maybe a minute or so, and then I think we're gonna take it off, and that's pretty much it. Easy peasy. It's hot, so be careful when you do that. And essentially what you're trying to do here is just move the beans around so all the extra husk can just come off of it. You're just using a little bit of friction. It also helps to cool the bean down. It's another way to separate out the husk is just by letting the air kind of run through the bean. Essentially what I'm doing here is just rubbing the beans together so that I can use the friction there and the heat to get the husk off. There's not a lot of husk left here now. The air took most of it away. But you can see after I did that, some more of it flew out. So I just want to get it nice and clean. That it's a slightly more windy day today. And meanwhile, I have the pot still on high heat here so that stays hot in case I decide to put the beans back on for some extra bit of roasting. But you can see here, they're looking pretty nice. This is a nice medium dark roast. The more you roast your beans, the more flavor you get, but you also lose caffeine content. So it's sort of it's an inverse relationship between roasting and caffeine. So you want to have a little bit less roast if you want more caffeine, and if you want more flavor, then you go with a darker roast, but then you can sacrifice some caffeine hit in that. So this is looking pretty good to me. I'm gonna just throw it in here for just maybe a little bit, just to heat it up some more, try to even out the roast just that little bit more. God, I love that smell so much. It looks great, smells great, and when you have your coffee, it tastes great as well. There's honestly, There's not a lot of things in life that I like more than coffee. So this is pretty much looking like the finished product here. I'm pretty happy with that roast. You can see it's that nice kind of golden brown, nothing too dark, nothing too kind of light in there. It's pretty even. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that off. The final bit of sorting that I do happens right in here. And this is where you can really just jostle this around. I have a lid as well, so I'm gonna toss the lid on and really just shake it up in here so that whatever husk is left over can get off of it. So you can see here, this is a finished product. Super easy to roast your own coffee. It's cheaper. It also is a nice meditative thing that you can do on a nice afternoon. Spend a little bit of time outside and just you know, get a little bit closer to the actual process and to the delicious beverage that a lot of us enjoy. Cheers.